Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to No More Heroes. So we're in the middle of this fight with Bad Girl. And I looked up some strategies, guides. Apparently one of the things you certainly could do is you could go back to Santa Destroyer and wait long enough you would be able to purchase the Tsubaki Mark III weapon, which with its upgrades would almost certainly make this game easier. I've figured out a lot of the strategies though, so I'm hoping I can do this. In particular, one of the things that they've said is just to not really run into it, and I saw on one specific strategy guide you are supposed to dodge one way and then you're supposed to dodge left when she swings this way, and in general just kind of not be as close to her. You're really just waiting for your chance here. And you can see that there's definitely a timing aspect to it. But if I do sit here and just do nothing and press the X button, it works. When she falls down to cry, you're supposed to keep an eye on her hands. And if you keep an eye, if she takes her hands, both hands, off of the baseball bat, then she is vulnerable, and straight up you can even do a charged attack there. So yeah, it really seems like it just comes down to, if you take your time, you'll avoid most of the damage that I was taking. I was just trying to move too fast. And so you can kind of just do that. Basically the strategy guide says a lot of her attacks are just spammy attacks, and since most of my attacks are spammy attacks, they were clashing with each other quite a bit. Now my strategy is kind of reluctant in the fact that you do have to be careful about not losing all your energy. At some point you get an infinite energy upgrade, which could drastically change this whole experience. It seems like pressing X has a high chance of doing damage instead of pressing Y. Also. So yeah, just stick with the X button, focus in on her, press this, spin this around. I saw no strategy guide around getting around that specific fight part, but yeah, I've waited a couple of an hour in between this, so that let my palm rest a little bit. Yeah. See, that's just kind of a great example of you just gotta wait until she attacks to leave an opening for you. Which I wouldn't be surprised if some of the previous fights work that way. She has her hand on the bat, so I can't attack her at this point. So that's a fake version. Once she says the F word, that is the point where the game is saying you're safe and you won't get hit by an instant kill. That time she took both of her hands off. Alright. Let's get our health. Let's get battery. Let's see if that does some damage to her. One of her attacks, you are supposed to dodge on the right, according to one guide I saw, but that doesn't fully make the most sense, because she always bats from one side. She doesn't switch hands. And that's another fake out. So we could just recharge our energy while she's doing that. So it's definitely a slower experience, but it definitely feels like it's a safer experience. Now we still need to get to the quarter health spot where she starts things on fire, and also we haven't even seen it yet, but when she gets to quarter of her health, she'll start doing this batter up stuff, and you'll hit it back to her, and at that point she'll hit it back to you and just volley it. At that point you want to be fairly careful and dodge it when she hits it back to you, or you want to really risk it. See, and that just kind of sucks there, that she would not really accomplish anything and just try to do the home run attack again. Yep. We're running out of life. Just let her, I guess, maybe get through the process here. Yeah. Really just have to be incredibly patient here. Or you die. Take your pick. Like, what's funny about that pause menu, even though I just jumped through it, is that it says return to Santa destroy on as the second option, and then it says return to Santa destroy on the second line. So it's just like repeating itself. Clearly, one of those at one point should have said something like quit or give up, and they just wanted to not make it feel as negative sounding on the menu. But actually giving up does seem like it has a real chance of being useful if you have to do it. In this case, because you can go and buy that Tsubaka Mark III. And that charged attack that she does there, the guides I've seen say you really should just walk behind it and avoid it at this point. Just avoid taking damage and letting her exhaust herself. I wonder if maybe I should try and drag her out of one side of the field. I feel like Y might do more damage, but I'm gonna stick with the instructions I saw and just go with X. My fingers are starting to get cramped again, holding the left trigger as much as I am. Maybe you straight up just need to defend and take some like damage. While you're fighting through this, just like let her hit you a couple of times while you're blocking. Oh man, it just never does not consistently want to work. I just really asked for it that time.
Now die, bastard!
And we're screwed at this point. And you can't even skip here. Okay, so we spent nearly a big part of that time fighting Bad Girl before. Let's see what we can do otherwise. What sucks about this is they introduced this idea that you can jump over barriers, and then that opens this question certainly about whether there have been other places where you could have jumped over barriers. Press the right trigger, not the right button. Maybe right trigger button is what it says. Move the right stick up to jump. Alright. So then that does bring about an interesting question as far as this jump spot here. Plus, if I do the jump spot, it'll fast travel me back to the motel anyways. Alright. But that doesn't really lead you to anything. Okay. So, theoretically, I should be able to go to Naomi here and upgrade to the Tsubaki Mark III instead of the Mark II, which maybe will make the whole process a lot easier. I may also be just super short on cash, so we may have to do assassination missions. Which this definitely makes out a question. It definitely highlights the question as far as whether or not you could have upgraded even better. The upgrade parts are not here.
You otaku.
Well, what this does then is this forces us to potentially play through the game and grind a lot. I need basically 400,000 LBs, which would be doing the 3-minute mission 4 times. Just to get the weapons. Probably doing the assassination mission, the most recent assassination mission, 5 or 6 times, all to just get an advantage, any advantage really that you can possibly get to defeat Bad Girl. It's not unrealistic to say that some players would have not even had the Mark II weapon, let alone the Mark III, in fighting her. And I do think a lot of it just straight up comes down to how much of the game have you gotten good at. It definitely feels like, assuming there is an actual New Game Plus element here, playing this on easy is definitely recommended. Unlocking everything on easy, then playing it on a extra hard mode that is going to unlock, I assume. Yeah. The normal mode seems like it's not really worth playing. You also have this weird situation, certainly, where the game comes off very much like a strategy experience, much more than you really would have thought it was. Like, I would definitely have said this is more of a button masher game with a little strategy. Okay, can we pause and turn down the audio while we're doing this? Config sound effects. Let's just turn that down fairly low. We'll turn that back up after we're done, because this is going to get annoying. But all of a sudden, if you have to play the game multiple times to really get the full experience, then yes, that does make it feel very much like a more strategy fighting game than the button masher I've been treating it as. And honestly, I don't think No More Heroes is better as a game as a strategy game where you're supposed to get good at it and really just struggle and try over and over again. Japanese games often have the feeling that they're making them like way more difficult than they need to be. There's an interesting side conversation I wanted to have here, in that you have these moe characters that Travis supposedly is obsessed with, although he never talks about them or even like seems to really care that much about them. And this would be like one of the earlier cases of a game that would have made it to the West in its initial release to have characters that would be described as moe. When this game originally came out, I think moe was probably somewhat in its infancy as far as a phrase being used. Definitely looking at the art style, it definitely doesn't feel like it's anywhere close to what moe would be nowadays. And while there are definitely moe characters in visual novels, most visual novels were not coming out to the West or being targeted to Western audiences. There are a few games that came out after this, certainly, that have like moe main protagonists, but not really a ton of them. If you were to start to try and make a list, you wouldn't have too many different series. You might have several games from the same series, the Neptunia series, Senran Kagura series. I guess you would probably say some of those characters are moe, but the art style definitely did not have a lot of development as far as games for the West. Yes, there would have been visual novels like Higurashi When They Cry. 94 that time. That's a fairly moe animation style, but that's a visual novel. There probably is a reason for that. Either the current way moe characters are animated, or even the way they're being animated here, makes them not very bendy, not something that you probably could even easily animate if I was to really think about in video games, or animate actions around them.
Hello, Travis.
The thing I think that really changes here, though, is not the fact that you're going to potentially do more damage. I feel like when you upgrade your weapon, you increase your timings for the combo windows and the dodging, and just dodging in general, and damage taken. It seems like every stat, instead of just an attack stat, gets increased. Now, I could be wrong about that, certainly. There is a moe anime girl in a Dark Souls game that is coming out, and there's definitely been some dungeon crawler games like that. Generally speaking, I don't think we're at a point where we gamers in the West or in Japan want 100% any art style as far as characters. There should be kind of a consistent art style, so it makes sense that they'd all be in the same universe, but you would want some characters to be moe, but then you would want some characters to also potentially be taller, older looking, more motherly. The days of let's have 5 different anime girls that look exactly the same except for they have different school hair colors or haircuts are not days that people want to stick to or bring back. More variety in character design is definitely better. You can certainly see in this case, if there was more variety of character designs, it would be more interesting. And even if it was just texture changes, it would be more interesting. But you could also have shorter characters, taller characters, older characters, faster characters, slower characters. As it stands, these minions really just play out like they might have slightly different weapons or slightly different stats based on whether they're from one level or another. Of course, I could, instead of just doing this multiple times, I could be doing some of the other open free fights for less money, or some of the other assassination gigs for less money. The fact that you're not getting paid a base rate for doing any of the quests, I think is kind of a mistake. You could have reconfigured this economy in such that at a certain rank, as you level up, you are always paid the same amount per job, so you can do whatever jobs you choose in any order. That would allow the player to create his own variety, making more progress towards an achievement. At this rate, I don't think I'm going to get all the achievements though, and it seems fairly obvious that one of the achievements is either get a massive amount of slashes or kill a massive amount of people. Let's see. We got 6 more seconds. It does definitely feel like you're just, unless you get a stronger weapon and then you can kill people in half the amount of damage, like, I don't see a way that you would easily get to 100 in that. You definitely aren't going to get to 100 in most of the other challenges. It's right in front of the street light there. And it's no surprise you can knock those over for as much as you would get stuck otherwise. You would think that there would be a side job to actively break all of those, knock them down, run them over with the motorcycle, something.
Hello, Travis.
What this is definitely not doing, however, is it's not making my fingers any better. It's not. It may be warming up my fingers a little bit, but it is also wearing out my fingers quite a bit. I suppose, as far as all the characters, since all the characters are pretty badly written, one thing you could have done with, like, the video guy is have him be, he's obviously very friendly with Travis, because he's the same guy that brings you the motorcycle when you call him. So why not have them step aside and talk about their favorite anime show? Then they could have some more conversations. You could easily have some parody conversations about real anime shows, or you could just have ridiculous conversations to make the whole show seem like what they're watching is insane. It would give new dialogue, new personality. It's strange to think, for as much dialogue that was in Killer 7, how little dialogue there is in this game. At a certain level, either Suda51 or Grasshopper Manufacturer has had clearly a bit of an obsession around making kind of different gameplay mechanics more than anything. Because I don't think this game would have been made if it weren't for the Wiimote and the fact that you had a one-to-one sword swinging experience. Almost certainly this would have just been something closer to Killer 7 where you're shooting guns. Or but I also don't want to deny that there hasn't been some like major improvements compared to Killer 7 in this game. You're not on rails. There isn't a ridiculously small number of level, area, and enemies. The puzzles and the power rings and those kind of elements in Killer 7 are not repeated here, which maybe there should be some puzzles in this game. The fights themselves are kind of like puzzles, but they're not like proper puzzle experiences. The power rings probably would help more if there was something more like that. You kind of have that with upgrades in the weapons, but there could have been a extra power ring to wear that would have doubled your attack or doubled your health or doubled your defense. Any of those things would almost certainly help me quite a bit at the moment. And yeah, at this point I am running out of things to say. I'm trying very lacklusterly to spin the right stick when I get those prompts, and it's working. I imagine that's probably because these are not very strong enemies, and I would have to spin it a lot harder with stronger enemies. That's probably slowing down some of the kills I'm doing also. Almost out of energy. Okay. That should be enough now to get me to purchase the weapon. But then it's not even worth it to really half-butt it. So we might as well purchase the weapon and then get a general 200,000 or 300,000 more, and then buy the upgrades, which the upgrades might be way more expensive than 200 or 300,000. I wouldn't be surprised if we strike close to $1 million for unlimited energy and ultimate extra damage. Right. So we buy this. And we'll go do it one more time. We'll do it 2 more times. Should we do something different now that we have an upgraded weapon? It would be nice, really, if there was a open mission, free mission somewhere around here. Yes. I don't think there really is. Do you think we could possibly jump over the river? I don't think so. I think you really are severely limited in what you can jump over. It's probably just a couple of things. Well, the right move is to once again do what we just did, because then we'll have an A-B comparison back to back as far as how much of an improvement it is. We've been struggling to get 100 kills. Now if we start to get 200 kills, that would be amazing. Also, that would maybe point out that a lot of these assassination gigs that pay per kill could potentially pay a lot more. But I don't think it really works that way, because I'm pretty sure every other assassination gig that pays per kill doesn't infinitely spawn in enemies. If it does, I haven't noticed that. Right, so now we have press A to draw, and it is just a laser katana now, which honestly I'm not even sure I'm not even sure I ever bought this. He's definitely doing different moves now. Fancier moves. It's knocking more people down. I may just need to lock on to more enemies. It's not beneficial in this case to knock people down, but it definitely would be beneficial against Bad Girl to knock her down. When he does these swipe attacks, they do just seem to go all over the screen and attack lots of people. There I got a dodge without, I think, really even dodging, just out of like a free generous effect. Yeah, you don't have to really even see them on the screen. Now my sword is out of energy, so we can tell that will play a role. So, yeah, you may have a sword here that does a lot of damage, that then has the real limitation of needing to have unlimited energy. to really be used. I don't think I can take a lot of opportunities in the fight with Bad Girl to recharge my weapon. What sucks about this though is that since the animation moves are all the different, it just doesn't feel like the timing is the same. Like, so it definitely feels like you are starting all over again. Yeah, that's considerably less kills than what I had before, so I should just switch back to the Sabaki Mark II if that's the way that's gonna go. Is there anybody that I could fight right now with the Mark III that would make more sense? It'd have to be kind of a single enemy that... Yeah, it would have to be a single enemy that has a lot of health and short of bosses. There isn't any assassination gigs or free fight gigs like that. It would make sense for them to potentially have stronger single enemies to fight, even if they were just going to take a minion and say make him 20% taller and 20% bigger and give him 20% more health. I think that would work fairly well. Okay. So I can get this. Let's see. Greatly increase its output. But then you run into this problem of energy saving 3. I'll never have to recharge again. Okay.
You otaku.
So we do 10 more grinds on that same level, and we can get infinite energy. And then now we know what the price is. And then the question is it worth the price? Or should we simply go and try and take out Bad Girl again? Well, inherently, you still have this problem where you're probably going to want that infinite energy anyways, and we're going to have to grind a bunch of stuff in the next instance anyways.
Hello, Travis.
Again, we need to do the same thing. Regardless, just for ABC testing. Now, if we killed 51 enemies last time, we should potentially get to 102 this time, if not better. And this will at least give us a warm-up. That should give us 140 or so thousand LBs. Which I guess that probably means we'd have to do it 7 times, not 10 times. But that is definitely a lot of grinding. We do all this grinding now, and there's still room, I assume, to grind for the entry fee, and room to grind for just purchasing all the outfits. And because we have a save files in multiple places, I don't think there would ever be a situation where you yeah, I don't think I could screw it up so bad that I would erase my save file in a new game plus like reset everything and not be able to go and potentially grind with the old save files to unlock extra things if I just really wanted those extra achievements. Sometimes when you beat a game, like games on rare occasions will delete your save file or overwrite your save file with a new game plus save file. But since there are 4 save spots here, that's unlikely to happen. Yeah. And we're just waiting for everybody else to spawn in, I guess. Depending on the type of swipe, though, it's still very easy to not hit everybody in a circle around you. But if you get a side swipe, you basically are hitting everybody around you. The recharge is very fast on this, so you can account for not having infinite energy if you want to. It might be a case that the Mark II upgraded does work better in some situations, just because it is a wider weapon with less fancy movements around it. But the Mark III clearly is the better weapon if you're in a fight against a boss. We'll see how close we get to 100 this time. Remembering that we had to take a break to recharge our battery once. I'm doing a lot of Y button presses here, where maybe you would want to do X button presses. But continuing to make progress towards whatever that achievement is. It's really not as good, though. Alright, well, I'd have to do that basically 9 more times. And I just don't particularly feel like doing that, so let's instead come in here and see if maybe there's a way to strengthen ourselves again. Training will extend your beam katana's combo attacks. Sure, we'll do that. And then what is this? Up, 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 up. It just move the 2 back and forth. There we go. And then I guess the question is there something else that could be done here? Nope.
I wait for you.
So that makes the weapon even more deadly. And yeah, I don't feel like we're probably doubling the experience, but we are, I suspect, getting major percentage increase as far as the amount of damage and stuff it can do. Guess what we would want to do is just make sure that there's not a video to purchase. Just to make sure nothing else is available for purchase.
Travis, you couldn't have come over at a better time, huh? You're not gonna believe your eyes.
Yep, no videos.
Come back again.
Okay. So you might go back to your motel and save through that, but I suspect I will be able to just save anyways. Is there anything else I could really upgrade? Not without a significant amount of grinding. I just need massive income for the infinite energy, and I'm just hoping now that we have upgraded our weapon, that will lead towards me having a much better chance at defeating Bad Girl. We could certainly like experiment here with something like this. I think I probably have already done this one multiple times, and this one probably doesn't pay very well. Right. In this case, I think specifically X is the right move. Right. So, yeah. Maybe if you can get enough of these guys close enough to you, you can hit them harder and faster. In that case, though, it still doesn't seem like you're guaranteed like no damage. So if there was like another $1 million upgrade that said you never took damage, that would be nice. That would at least open the doors towards a higher chance of me getting gold on all of the challenges. The next question certainly to ask here is, am I going to have to reset this whole experience? Did I collect any of the trading cards? Am I going to end up back on the stadium field, the baseball field, supposedly running around with the motorcycle? Still not good at getting these jumps. Like, ideally I would have collected everything and everything would be still the same, and that I would be immediately dropped into a fight, but alright, let's run the bases as much as possible. Alright. This would really be your only opportunity to run over a lot of people in the entire game. And the controls are rough, to say the least. So it's not super surprising why I probably wouldn't really pull this off. And bullets are slowing you down enough. If there was an achievement for running over each of the bases, that would be a high ask too. Alright. What else do we have to take out? Just a line of outfielders. It doesn't seem to me like there's any new place while you're on the motorcycle that you could jump into that might be the place that you would find the trading cards. So I have no idea where you find the trading cards in this one. This definitely doesn't get you warmed up for that bad girl fight by any means. You can't run over people that are on the ground. Interesting. We're getting money for rolling off over these guys. Take notice at the scale here though, how much the camera has to be zoomed out for this to really make sense, and how much smaller the motorcycle and how much larger the roads have to look for it to make any sense. It would be a fairly major camera angle shift that would have to take place to allow you to run over enemies in the motorcycle in the open world. But that's definitely what they should have played towards. Clearly, that's what this is all about. Is that this was an experiment on being allowed to run over more people. Being really encouraged to run over more people. Is there a specific point here where I have to jump off the bike? Or will they just keep throwing enemies at me? They're not giving me massive amounts of income anyways though, so I don't think it would be really worth it. Now we're back to the camera angle that you usually see when driving. And even that wouldn't have been terrible if we had had to drive around like this the whole time. I guess the question here is, can we get into that? No. So you have to get off your motorcycle at that point. Which I don't know if this is a case that I have already collected all the collectibles. It looks like that is the case. And so it did save that progress, which really does highlight that I should have gone to the motel and made sure I'd gotten all the collectibles. We're now approaching 30 hours. Well, no, that's not what that meant. Okay. Fingers crossed. We will now be able to defeat her. The gruesome viscera on the edges doesn't mean anything.
Phew. What a day. I need a drink. So fucking thirsty. Hold on a sec.
I just don't know if there's really that much of a distinction between the Travis Touchdown and Bad Girl here.
I feel alive.
Obviously, he thinks there's a big difference there. He doesn't like her because she's
Pop quiz. Why am I
just
such a angry bitch? Seriously, no
well,
matter how
that,
many
I guess.
pills, it's all the same. They're all going to pay. Yeah, with their fucking lives.
You're a bad girl.
You have no right to look at me like that. It's just a job. The daily grind.
You're no assassin. You're just a perverted killing maniac.
In essence, they're the same. Don't
We
go on
basically
thinking you're better
needed
than me.
Travis Touchdown
Think
to
you're
preach
hot as shit.
his own
Who the
gospel,
fuck
as
do
it
you
were,
think you
as
are?
far as what he felt assassins are, and why he thinks assassins are so cool, and why he wants to be the #1 assassin. Like, without that extra information, then Travis comes off too much as a empty shell of a character. I guess at this point we will turn the sound effects back on. That will probably help. It does definitely come off like if you were doing no damage at all before, you are at least doing a little bit of damage now. Which it kind of makes me wonder if you could possibly ever defeat this character with the Mark I, or your Bloodberry first weapon, because it might be that these characters just have such a high defense that that they reduce any damage from weaker weapons significantly. Of course, I'm not doing great here. You have to take your time, take it slow, wait until she decides she wants to attack. You have to follow the lead. And potentially you're only going to get 3 hits. And maybe you should always go for X's. X button, not Y button attacks. And maybe you should never press the B button in these fights. We are almost completely out of health and power, so far that hasn't proven to be useful. So I guess the question is going to come down to, can we get enough combos with this, or are your odds of getting the slow motion even lower without that infinite energy? I don't know if the infinite energy would even fix things. Yeah. Once you hear the clang, that is probably the point where you should attack. But yeah, it seems like maybe an XXB is about the best attack you can do. In a funny way, I guess this is not too far off from a parody or unofficial Star Wars game if you just wanted lightsaber battles, but arguably that is why there have been far fewer Star Wars games that were around exclusive lightsaber battle fights compared to like Rogue Squadron games where you're flying around in starfighters, or games where you're doing several different things. The general idea of a lightsaber battle is probably not enough to make a game interesting. Sometimes she's gonna swing and you're gonna have to just wait until you can get close enough. And see, in that case, I swung backwards and forwards, and neither one of those hits really did anything. It definitely doesn't feel like I'm doing way better though. Like maybe I'm doing 25% more damage, which I don't know if that is enough damage. Part of the problem is I'm definitely not dodging these at the last second. Well, actually, in that case, I was pressing X while they were attacking too, so maybe I should just clash more. Yeah. This whole battery concept really just doesn't make enough sense to exist in the game. So yeah, maybe I should just clash a little bit more. Don't look just for openings. Obviously, when they're doing a charged attack like this, you should take it out, but yeah, be a little bit more aggressive with it. Sometimes it feels like she gets into a dizzy state, like very quickly. but I'm not sure if that's a true dizzy state or if I'm just seeing things. It does just kind of seem like for half a second there she might have some stars over her head, and that if I could just press the A button or the B button fast enough.
Home run!
Yeah, I'm gonna try that slower. Yeah, I'm going quieter here because I'm really trying to win. Yeah, and you really don't have you're never gonna have time to do that. Just wait till she walks towards you. Does she have her hands off the bat? No, I don't think she does. It's hard to see, certainly. That time I could swoop in, but unless I was going to do like a supercharged attack, which I guess I could have done that. Best case scenario here. What is she gonna do? She's going to get to her next phase, and then with my 2 lives, I'm gonna really accomplish nothing. Good effort there, but obviously too much damage. And there's only 3 hints, it seems like, so it's only so far you can get with this. This is really killing my fingers, and like, even if I was able to make decent progress past this character today, I don't think I could play any more of this game towards the final boss fight, which I'd like to wrap up today and just be done with this game. I would have to get something that would make me particularly ambitious if I wanted to play it in a New Game Plus type mode. Wow, my energy is low already. Just like totally out of battery already. It definitely seems like the time slowdown mechanic is when she takes this, not that attack, but the other button mashing attack. that one is a dodge move. But obviously I'm not that good at dodging. This one, I don't think there's any way to really dodge that. You just want to be away from it. And I guess the question is, are the charged attacks like I guess the question is, really, are the charge attacks that much different? I may have gotten her with that attack. Let's go and get our food. I feel like the sword is telling me that it's running low on energy. It's probably not worth it to want more of these enemies here on the screen as far as the GIMP characters. Let's see if we can charge things up without dying. So that our health is still pretty low. And getting those clashes seems like it is definitely at the risk of taking damage even if you succeed at the clashes. I want more of the wrestling moves, and that's not working. It really is just not fair to have multiple enemies in a boss fight. Alright. I think that's the trapped one. Yeah. Perhaps I should alternate between Y and X because it does seem like Y maybe does more damage. Like, inherently, this is the problem with this game, is that I bet the Y button would do more damage, but you just have to learn these mechanics. And the only way to learn is seemingly to just fail multiple times over and over again. If I somehow survive this with 2 health, I would be super surprised. Like, 1 health left. Yeah. Maybe you're supposed to press the X button right after you dodge her attack. Infinite energy here would help, certainly. But I don't think there's a thing here where a real charged attack would change things that much.
Fuck you.
Like if you're gonna be doing charged attacks, you basically need the extra infinite energy. I don't see any way you get around that. Honestly, I just cannot hold on to the left trigger anymore. If there was a way to toggle it on, toggle the lock, I would really appreciate that. Yeah, there's probably a way to trigger something like that with either a third-party app or even built into Windows. Let's just make sure that there isn't that option. Nope, no toggle left trigger or toggle lock. A more modern game would definitely have that as a feature. Yeah, this is really where this game could benefit from a remaster. Figure out a way to just ask the player, do you want to skip this? Do you want to reduce her health in half? Do you want to checkpoint the fights after she's a quarter of the health, quarter of the way down? You know what? Like, ideally, you would want to be able to just do this. Hey, can I bat the gimps at you? Come on. Well, I don't know how I triggered that lock there, but it's interesting that I did trigger the lock. I'm trying to lean a lot heavier into Y attacks. Honestly, at this point though, buy yourself some time, get some health, get some battery, lock this in, and get back to the fight. So you have like a high defense and a low defense. And I'm not sure what really triggers the high defense or the low defenses in the Xbox controller setup. That seemed like that did a decent amount of damage. Come on. Right, we need to move back further. Tap that A button, spin this around, get into this fight. Walk back into this fight. I think a lot of this really does boil down to just don't press the X button unless you really have an attack. The problem here is you're still just not really making enough damage to counter the amount of damage I'm taking. I don't know how to really work for that. Like here I'm about to lose energy. He just put the laser sword right through his leg in that animation, by the way. Definitely seems like you need to press X when she's doing the swinging back and forth. But unfortunately, we're not making any better progress. And taking like even a single hit probably is one hit too many. Alright. I can't help but think that this game was way easier on the Wii. I don't know if that's specifically because of the Wii controls, but pretty much every Wii game was dumbed down in one way or another. And personally, I never learned to understand why people would have liked these more difficult aspects to video games. Like, maybe it's in part because I have a bit of arthritis in my hand, arguably because of playing games like this in my past, but it's just painful to button mash for hours upon hours, and it doesn't feel like you're making any progress because you aren't. At least if we were playing like a JRPG, you would be grinding on small enemies to get small amounts of XP instead of just dying against the same boss over and over again. We may get lucky here. Alright. Seriously. Well, at the very least, let's run towards these guys and then take them all out. Potentially all in one swoop. And focus on this character. But we've only been able to get her to attack us. We've only been able to get her to a quarter of her health a couple of times. You can see when you're out of a certain distance, there is this other element to it, certainly. I don't know if she has both hands on her thing. She didn't. Alright. And see, this is a trap version, so we'll charge up. But yeah, this is just not working. We might as well... It sucks that we can't bring the Sabaku Mark II in and just switch weapons right now when we die. But yeah. Unfortunately, I think I'm just going to have to play this off screen, and I don't even know how well that's going to work as a idea, because my fingers are just killing me. Like, I don't want to rage quit the game, certainly, but we're running out of options. I could certainly grind around and get the infinite energy clip, and I could purchase clothing, which does nothing for its health, which at a certain level, like, obviously the health aspect your health and defense should go up based on the number of items you've purchased, or there should be different stats on the clothes you purchase, but that's just non-existent. So there really isn't anything in this game I can do outside of getting extra energy that would make this experience better. Just be a better player. Play the strategies better. Don't let enemies hit you. After you get the combos, perhaps pull back instead of going in for another hit, because that leaves you exposed. Yeah. That was the wrong way to deal with that attack, but whatever. It didn't work too badly. There definitely are points here where it feels like we're getting lucky, but the luck runs out, and as soon as the AI decides to change up what it's doing, and that default attack to run and do the batter up attacks and hit the gimps at you, like the fact that there is just no way to prevent that one, that moves her into another section. Perhaps some of these attacks can be manipulated by your distance, whether you're in that ring or yeah. Every time I do that side dodge, that's being triggered by the X button, by the way, not the Y button or the right stick to dodge. So I'm toggling between the X and the Y button. Alright. If I do get hit by that, that's not the worst situation. If I just let her hit me, if I can't do anything else. It's almost impossible to win those fights though with her. My health is still fairly good, so if we just stick to the basics. Let her walk towards me, let her decide to do an attack. Let that happen. Do that. The main move here is to really try to get all of these enemies next to each other. Yeah, these having to be patient here, that's what sucks. Come on. She's still at half her energy though. Come on, just decide to attack. It's probably no surprise as to why she keeps going back to this batting section. Though, it's obvious that it's the only thing she can do that is fairly guaranteed to hurt me. So, why wouldn't she go for the most effective attack? It definitely feels like there's a point here, though, in where she stops taking as much damage. I could go get some health at this point, but like maybe you have to get a full 100 hits on her, regardless of how much damage you're doing. I don't particularly like the way the life bar is depicted in this game, because the colors just don't mean anything to me. So I don't know if yellow is better than green or what. Yeah. So, yeah. Finally, we've gotten her to the flaming bat. So if we can just survive and get really, really lucky, I'd love to be done with this fight. It's taken potentially 3 hours to get this far. Well, the trick here, I think, is to like dodge. She just does more damage. So probably dodge more. Yeah, you're better off dodging, I've heard, the second time that happens. If we can get a decent combo, we might be able to take her out in one more combo. That area of effect attack, though, I think we have to really... Alright, well... Alright, we still have a chance here. It's not great. But we could pull this off. Yeah, hitting him back. Come on, just let me get really, really lucky here. Yeah. We got closer than ever that time, but what did we do to get closer than ever? It seems like a lot of Y buttons after they attack, a lot of X buttons when she's attacking normally. A lot of just caution. See, this, like, am I supposed to be holding like an X charged attack even when she's swinging wildly like that? Or is it more of a case of I'm taking hits here that I don't need to be taking? Like, nothing seems to increase the amount of damage you actually take from doing the wrestling moves. It does kind of feel like the game is trying to be generous to me and give me a chance, but I don't know if it really is helping me as much as I'd like it to. Well, obviously it isn't helping me as much as I'd like it to, because I would have liked to have been done with this fight 2 hours ago. Maybe I should be hitting like Y and B at the same time, or X and Y, because I do have those like combo moves, and those are not moves that I've been using. So I have been limiting myself. And I really am trying with those. Perhaps the problem is I am using the palm of my hand when I would be better off I would be better off just like using my thumb. I don't know if that really would be better. The problem here obviously is that there's about 8 buttons that I'm trying to push with one thumb, between X, Y, A, B, and right stick up, down, left, right, and go in the circle. Let's go ahead and break this and break this while we're at it. If only the game had given me like a checkpoint at the halfway mark. I would gladly have taken that. That would have saved me so much time. Like, the question is really, what is the game asking me to prove here? It's asking, can I beat it in one attempt completely? And obviously the answer so far has been no, when it could just be asking me to prove to the game that I have a certain combination of skills. Like, doing the baseball event once would be fine per fight, and potentially even checkpointing to say, we know you have done this baseball event, you've seen the gimmick of it, you've seen how comedic it is, we're not going to make you work with that multiple times. Come on. Even if doing this just took out massive amounts of damage, it would be way better. Alright. Let's go and take that health. And see, she just, even though she chased me there, she ran back to do that again. Come on. Is it perhaps that I'm positioning myself too close to her? That might be the case. is that I get too far away from her, and when I get too far away from her, that opens the door for more of these attacks. I don't know. Let's just try to stay close. Well, staying close didn't really do anything either. And it's not particularly fun if it's really just going to come down to having to do this all day. Come on, take your swing. Darn it. We're out of energy. Is maybe the move to just get the Gimp on the field and just leave him on the field? I don't believe that is really the move, though. Alright, 3 health. She's almost to the point. Well, not really. She's a little over halfway done. Alright. So time for some hacking, I say. I'm going to end this episode here. I'm going to see if I can, let's see. It's probably, if I was to exit out to the menu, probably doesn't change anything. Yeah. Unsaved progress will be lost, and at that point that exits the whole app. What I'm going to do is see if there's a possibility that I can just lower the difficulty in the save game, which, fingers crossed, I would be able to do that with my level of understanding of programming. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to play off screen. If I can lower the difficulty, I'll make one more episode, probably tomorrow. I think at this point I want to just give up for the day. But yeah, I definitely made a mistake playing on normal. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and get me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.